how successful you've been at the end of the first half. What have you seen from the offense in terms of execution, and what's been have there been similar trends in some of those drives at the end of half that's allowed you guys to be successful there?
I think just on a whole, is the execution, right? The guys knowing what's going on now, the anticipation of what they expect to be called, and the anticipation of knowing what the defense is going to present to them. I think all of that stuff is just playing into them being able to execute it at a better rate now than maybe at the beginning, right? Which is natural. And then on top of it, the guys are just they're owning their assignments. The missed assignments have gone way down. And then we're having success throwing and running. Once we get across the 50, we've done a nice job of kind of mixing that up and been able to hit a couple shots too. And anytime you can do that stuff, that helps.
That drive, I guess, Detroit at the end of the half. What specifically did you like about the execution there?
Well, I mean, how many plays was that drive? That was, it was like we've had a few of those this year where we've had just a nice blend executed on third down. Right, that's kind of the biggest part. We were. It was 60% or something like that, or 55% on third down in that game, so that helps. If you can execute on third down, you get more opportunities, and then that obviously that helps the defense too. They're staying off the field now a little bit, and then the biggest thing is we seem to be being able to use up most of the clock, so the other team doesn't get a crack at it either.
Cordarrelle going down, is there any consideration of using Velus Jones as running back to try and get him back involved on offense?
Yeah, I think we're going to look at as many different ways as possible to fill that void. Nothing will necessarily replace Khalil. He's done such a nice job for us, been a mindset guy. So we're looking at a bunch of different things.
Luke, you mentioned third downs, and you guys have been climbing towards your standard, that 48% benchmark that you set. Justin, with his legs, has converted a lot on third down. What kind of luxury is that for you guys as an offense and you as a play caller to know that is there for you on third downs?
Yeah, I mean, anything to make the defense accountable to as many different things is the goal, right? I mean, anytime you become kind of one track, anything, it's really hard to be successful in this league. I don't care how good you are. So being able to kind of just put more on the defense's plate is what's the biggest reason why I think they have a lot to think about now.
Coach, I asked Justin about the ability in the offense for him to maybe just check to a fade route to chase now that he's here, and how long that may take for him to be able to do such things. He said he's not allowed to do that. He said maybe 5 or 6 years from now, I'll be able to do that. If the offense keeps playing like he's playing, you won't be here in 5 years. So how do they get – is it possible to get to that sooner where he can get to those checks? I was thinking about a play when you guys ran a quarterback keep down in the red zone, and Justin picked up 5 yards on the quarterback keep. Mm-hmm. But Chase was one-on-one, and it looked like a good opportunity from the fade to the field side. And I asked him about it. He's like, we can't do that. Is there a way to get to that?
Well, I think it's more like the timing, of when you do that, because there are plenty of times that we do kind of give him that freedom, but then there's times that we don't. So right now it's more in the structured world of like, okay, hey, when this opportunity presents itself, you can go ahead and do what you feel, and he's done that already this year. And so I wouldn't necessarily consider it more about like a freedom thing or a trust thing. I think it's just a growth of playing the game, like of knowing when those times are real, when they're not. I think that's more about as much as anything. I don't think, as we grow together and he sees things and he has reasons why, like I'm all in. That's listening to the players is more important than just about anything else you do as a coach.
The outside world has a sort of a natural, I guess it would be impatience, but curiosity of what Claypool's emergence timeline would be. How would you kind of characterize all the things that he has to get comfortable with and settle in on to kind of continue climbing in a role?
Yeah, that's probably a more difficult question. I think that's, if you're watching us play, right, and you kind of see how the thing kind of flows, and there's a lot of moving parts, and we include a lot of people in what we do, and so I think it's not as simple as like if you're watching some teams like I'll just use my past history of like in 2014 we lined up in 2x2 or 3x1 and you lined up Devontae, Jordy, and Randall and Aaron's your quarterback and that's it. Like that was so if someone popped in that offense it would probably be a little easier because you just plug and place. Where we just have a lot more moving parts as far as specifically one guy with the way we're going right now to isolate maybe is the best word. So he's having to learn a lot, and he's done a tremendous job. to pick up as much as he's done in 2 weeks is pretty impressive. So I think the opportunities will just continue to grow. I think his role continues to grow, and we're on the right track.
You guys did really good in the third quarter. What gets figured out at halftime, and how did you learn in your career how to adjust during that? I mean, how much time do you have to yourself there? Not very long.
Yeah, it's not very long, but I think it goes into the whole week of planning, and when you're pretty specific with your plan, it doesn't make you feel like you have to go off the rail and come up with something crazy. And so we've done a good job of that. Our staff does a great job of just like being supportive with each other and getting the guys prepared for. By the time we hit Saturday, the guys feel like they're in a really good place. And then, I think it's just when you go in and you communicate, hey, like, this is what we're going to do, it gives the guys another opportunity to kind of like soak it in. Okay, this is what we're going to do. They're not going out blind. And because when our guys know what they're doing, we're pretty good at it.
Luke, can you talk a little bit about the end of the game 2-minute drill? Because the last 2 weeks, obviously, as your parents call it, maybe should have been called, kind of affects you guys a lot there. And then last week, you had 1:45 to go, 2 timeouts, you're all third, you just need a field goal to tie the game, or win the game. Are you happy with the play calls? Because it seems like the whole playbook could be open there, but
Yeah.
go back and pass and then.
Yeah, no, I think you're trying to, as always, anytime you get in these 2-minute drives, you want to get it started. First down is the most important, I think, to get those things rolling. It was unfortunate, Cole's about to break open for a big one, and they have the supposedly incidental contact, right? But no, that was tough, and there was things in there, and it's not just anything. Not one guy or another. We malfunctioned in the protection on the last one. So that was a disappointing part of it that we got to get better at. That's the second time. Minnesota was the first time. And then we did that again here. And then we overcame it in Minnesota and got the ball rolling again. This one we did not. Obviously it was 4th and 8. So that part of it, we can't malfunction whenever it's critical time. And then, play calls are play calls. Players bring them to life. The guys are doing their job, and we just got to execute a little bit better and make sure we finish those off.
As an extension of that, what do you perceive would be the value of getting one of those done in a late game situation to go down and win a game for Justin, for the offense, for everybody?
Yeah, I mean, that's confidence, right? Anytime you have some success, you build confidence. So, yeah, for sure. I mean, that's important. One, you want to win, right? It feels better to win for sure. So that's important. And then the second part is just, it gets confidence in everybody, believing in themselves, believing they can do it, and they know they can. I mean, they've done it all year. Most of the time we've done a really good job. Like I said, what was it, Washington? We go all the way down. We just don't punch it in. So we're getting better. We're on the right track. And we just got to make sure we execute better and not have those mental errors there at the end.
Chase said the route tree here is more difficult, more intricate than what he was used to previously. Is there a way to simplify things within it to maybe get him more involved, or is that something that maybe you don't want to do because that would change what you do offensively?
I wouldn't be the second, wouldn't be the latter there. He's learning it. I think how it started. It was like, hey, these are what you need to know for this game. And then last week it grew more, and then now this week, he's closer to just like diving in and being a part of it. So as we, where now the expectation is we don't have to just tag the play as if when you're in now. So I think that's part of the natural growth in this whole thing, because you can see, I mean, like we run the rock and we do a pretty good job with the play pass game, and so it's not like we're just spreading them out. We're not the Cincinnati Bengals just spreading out 2 by 2 and spitting it out, one-on-one routes. That's not been who we are, and so it's 11 as one. I mean, that's literally who we are as an offense.
When Justin lowers his shoulder at the goal line to score at the end of the half, as a coach, are you more excited that he's doing it, or scared to death that he's lowering that shoulder at full force into someone?
Yeah, I don't, especially in the moment, you're not thinking about anything like that. It's the competitor in him. I think that's why these guys rally around him. He's about winning. The dude just wants to win, and that's our mindset.
What have you seen from Bayless in terms of the last couple of weeks where he's been in a healthy scratch, how he's responded in meetings and practice? Have you had to maybe pull him aside and give him a little pep talk, or what's it been like?
No, I think at the very beginning maybe, but he's done a great job. I think, he's done a great job doing it's not like he's not getting reps with us. He's getting reps with us. He's getting reps with the scout team part of it. So He's been great. He's definitely been dialed in. Tyke does a great job with him. He's definitely getting better mentally as far as being able to do more things too. So I think he's definitely on the right track.
Hey Luke, I have a quick, oh. Yeah.
You do too? Is that okay? All right, we'll do the Heach killer.
So when Justin says things like his legs are tired, do you have to kind of be mindful of his workload in games and how he's tapering off during the week and how you prepare in accordance to, I know he's young, but also carrying a lot right now?
Yeah, no, I think that's with any players. You have to do that, right? If you call 7 plays that are directed at Cole Kmet, it's going to be pretty hard for him to be able to do that. So that's with any position, and definitely we're mindful of that for sure.
I just had a quick Packers question for you. So, obviously you were a quarterback's coach and a receivers coach there in your time there, and I'm wondering how difficult is it for a rookie receiver to connect with Aaron and to get incorporated into that offense? Because we've seen them struggle a little bit, but it seems like now in that last game with Christian Watson, they started to hit a stride there. So I'm wondering, from your perspective in both roles, what is that process like of earning his trust as a rookie, and is it more challenging than any other NFL offense?
It's not more challenging than any other offense. I don't want to speak to somebody else's stuff, but I think it is. I mean, when you go to an elite level guy and you're brand new, I don't care if you're a rookie or just a guy that's a free agent, and he's an intricate dude. He's very detailed, and he expects things. Expects you to be where you're supposed to be when you're supposed to be there, and so. I think it's just like anything. You experience as the year goes on, people get more comfortable, and you find that groove. And obviously, like you just said last week, he found it with that young man.
Better running game than Atlanta is the Chicago Bears. So what do you see when you see the Falcons on tape?
Explosive in the run game. Try to get on your edges. The line, they do what they do well, which is run to the sideline, try to get on your edges. Perimeter blocking, try to find ways to attack your force, and 3, 4 really good runners in the running backs and the quarterback. So we are definitely going to have our hands full this weekend.
Alan, what makes Patterson such a difficult guy to account for?
Yeah, he's strong. He's fast. He's physical. He can catch the football, so he has different elements in there. They put him in the backfield, and he runs you talk about a receiver that has the whole route tree. He's a running back that has I'm just making this up, the run tree, so to speak, that he runs inside, he runs outside, he runs powers. So it's not one thing where you say, hey, when he's in there, he's going to be running perimeter runs. He runs them all, so you have to defend him like a running back. And then when they put him out wide, you have to defend him like a receiver. You know what? More than a thickian. He's respectfully alien. So he can really, there aren't many, he's a planet guy. There aren't many guys like that on the planet that are that big, that fast, that can do all that he does. So respectfully, he's just a good football player that does it all.
What would you do with him if he wanted to play defense and you had Cordarrelle Patterson available to you?
Yeah, I'd welcome him. He's a guy like, if I could go back kind of further, like a Ronald Curry, that was super athlete that played at quarterback North Carolina and then was out with the Raiders. That if he was, with on the defensive side of the ball, you'd see him maybe have a yellow jacket on. So he's, I think, that good.
A lot of teams tried to get him going offensively, more than just a special teams player, but the Falcons seem to have really figured it out. What do you think they're doing that's allowed him to take this next step as an offensive player?
Well, not being there myself and knowing him personally, I would say some of it is just maturing and growing into your position and growing into that spot and kind of figuring it out. I think people go, well, great athlete, just throw him in there and he's going to be automatically successful in the NFL. And I don't know if that gives enough respect to how hard the game is, how complex the ball game is, what people have to do. They think, hey, just hand them the ball and let them go. But there's more to it than that. It's actually running the offense. It's actually protections. It's actually route trees. It's adjustments. So
I think he's just probably matured some, probably figured the playbook out in terms of all the nuances of it, and and to his credit, switching positions and working at it.
Alan, going against this offense every day and then seeing what Atlanta does, like similarities in terms of like their playbook makeup with, design rush percentage, play action, is there a benefit to this defense and how you game plan for Atlanta, knowing that I guess you see a variation of this every day?
I think there is. You're seeing some of the same plays on a regular basis, some of the same plays that we saw in camp. And whenever you have a familiar scheme, the guys, they only block it so many different ways, so the guys are a little bit familiar with that. But at the end of the day, it's still man matchups. It's still, can I whip my man? Can I whip the guy across from me? Can I tackle the guy? Can I set an edge? It still comes down to that. So I'd say both. Yes, we have some familiarity with the offense, but it's still going to be, hey, can I whip my guy that's across from me?
Now, what have you seen of Kyler Gordon behind the scenes, and have you recognized growth or comfort as he's gone through this rookie season?
I do see growth. I see growth every day. I see growth in the meeting room. I see growth with the kinds of questions that he asks. I see growth in terms of how comfortable he's getting with each ball game. It's a little bit faster. It's a little when he's recognizing different plays, he's playing a little bit faster there. So each week it's a little bit better. And when you talk about rookies or first-year players, you have to give them a little bit of grace, not much, but a little bit in terms of the season for them in college was almost coming to an end. And so it's all those things that are stacked on top of them. It's not just football. It's the length of the football season. It's the intensity of the football season. It's the complexity of the NFL season. It's the physical demands that we're putting on the guy's body, physical and mental. So I'm still pleased with Kyler Gordon in a big way.
Jalen Johnson was noticeably not as effective as he usually is against the Lions. He was playing hurt. How much of it was that, or was there something else at play that kind of led to that?
I'll let Jalen say why he didn't do as if he'd said as well as he usually does. Sometimes it's just that, hey, guys didn't have a great ball game. You wouldn't attribute it to anything other than, hey, maybe good scheme, good route for the play, that type of thing. And when I do know this, when Jalen hadn't performed up to his standards, I do know the next week you can almost bet that the next week is gonna be better. He's prideful, he's smart, he's tough, he's mentally stable, and so I guarantee you that this week would be better than last week.
Did you notice that this bothered him? That affected him? Sometimes guys try not to show it, but could you tell that he was bothered by the way he played Sunday?
I think not just Jalen, but anyone, and me included, that when you go into a ball game and you have expectations of how you're going to perform in the way, especially when you work hard as he does, that it's going to bother you. And I'm glad that it bothers him that that he didn't grade out A plus. So that just means that he's going to continue to work, continue to improve, and you know what? We wouldn't think anything different, even if he graded out A plus. We're still looking for that it's A plus the next week. So we don't approach it any different.
What were the conversations with him when you went back and looked at that penalty on film?
No conversations. Really, there aren't any conversations to have. We watch the film, we look at it. No conversations about that. We would just say that not about that play. As a group, the conversations would be when you have adversity strike within a ball game, our growth is going to be, hey, they make a call, there's some adversity. Now, really good teams and really good defenses and really good coaches, what you do, you respond in a positive way, and you come out there the next play and you stop them, and then the next play you stop them. Our job qualification didn't, hey, stop them only when things go well or only when it's positive. Our job is to, and there's a period behind it, stop them. And so our job is to respond no matter what, good, bad, or indifferent, stop them.
important is it, how important?
Leaders right now are Brisker, Roquan, and Sanborn.
Yes.
What do your defensive linemen need to do to unlock that? Can that be done in the middle of the season? And do you have to consider changing up the mix at all, especially on obvious pass downs?
I would say yes. And you said, no, it would be yes. Yes, in that, can you change it in the middle of the season? Yes, that's what we're working on. What do you need to do? Yes, mix it up. We're bringing pressure. We're rushing for. We've done some different things there. And then technique and continue to give great effort. And so all of those are yes. We would like our front forward to lead our team in sacks. It's not happening right now, but we look for that to change as we go along. And you know what? To the credit of our guys, they're upset about it that they're not leading the group in sacks, but they're still working their tails off. They're still hustling, and this is the type of team we have. They're excited for those guys that do have the sacks. It's not a pissy attitude where, hey, I'm looking at you sideways. Our team, they're excited about that, and that shows what kind of guys you have.
Alan, with Justin Jones, what is something specific that you enjoy about coaching him? Something unique to him that you really like in terms of you guys' relationship?
Yeah, I would say when you get a veteran in here and how open he is to coaching. And really, I hate to say that, but everyone is not like that. Everyone is, some guys are, hey, I've been successful doing this, and so I'm going to do this throughout my career. He's come in and he's been wide open and he's saying, hey, coach, help me get better, help me to improve. What things do you see that I need improvement? And to his credit, Travis, his position coach, has said, hey, A, B, and C, this is what we're going to work on. And with me, whenever I say, hey, I need you to do this better, or this is how you can do this better, he goes, okay, give me a kind of a why, because our guys are like that. Give me a why, and that's okay. And hey, this is the why. He goes, okay, let's get it done. And so I do appreciate that with a older vet like that.
Does he ever get in the 100% club? Does he ever get the no loafs?
No, I don't know if anyone ever gets the no loafs, or have gotten the no loafs. They minimize them, but and with 20 or more reps, I'm not sure if any of our guys have been in that category. Don't completely quote me on that. I'm just I know I'm up here on the microphone, but I'm not sure if anyone has. That's the standard that we're trying to obtain, but perfection is something you strive for, and I'm not sure if any of us have gotten to perfection just yet.
How important is it for the defense to generate more takeaways, and how do you accomplish that? I know you guys have been focusing on it from day one, so it's not like you can emphasize it any more than you already have.
Mm-hmm. That question was probably asked about 4 weeks ago, and we said they come in bunches. What you do is you keep emphasizing in practice, you emphasize in the meetings, you emphasize in how you do things, and I think that was before the New England game, and there were three or four of them. So that's what I would say about that. And then you would say, how important is it? It's as important as winning, because we equate the turnovers to victory and the turnovers to winning the football game. So the more you are in the plus and the takeaway margin, the higher the percentages are that you're winning football games. So it is taking the football away. It is everything.
All right, good afternoon. How are you guys doing? Great. Go ahead, guys. Fire away.
The missed PAT, did you get a diagnosis on that? Did you figure out what caused that to go astray?
Yeah. Anytime, you have a missed PAT or a missed kick, our goal is to obviously make every kick. There are probably about 7 or 8 things that have to go right in order to make a kick. And if one thing goes wrong, then you could miss a kick. And when we talk about kicking, it wasn't one thing there, all right? You got to have protection, and you got to have a snap, you got to have a hole, you got to have a kick. usually there are three people that work in there. You got a snapper, a holder, a kicker, right?
Yeah, I'm aware of how it works.
If any one of them is off, then you could have a missed kick. Now, our goal is to make every kick, okay? But
What went wrong on that one?
yeah, I'm gonna get to it in a second. Everybody, and the reason why I'm explaining this, I'm trying to help you understand and set it up for you, because there were three things that went wrong on that kick, and it wasn't just one person. So I know everybody likes to say, well, he should have, Cairo should make a kick. Well, the snapper's got to be great. The holder's got to fix the snap if the snap's not good, and then the kicker's got to fix the holder and the snapper if they're not good. So on that particular play, all three of us needed to be better. The protection was good, but all three of us needed to be better. So that's what happened on that kick.
Is the key for you guys on kickoff to, with Patterson back there, just like not kick it to him?
Yeah, I would say I can't answer that question right now because of a competitive advantage for the game. But we're excited to play Patterson. We're excited to play Williams if they put them back there. They're number 10 in the league in kickoff return average. They're really good at that. They're number 1 in the league in punt return average. So our guys get juiced up. I'm excited about the challenge. We're all juiced up and excited about the challenge to compete with them and play against them. So the one thing about Patterson is he's going to bring the ball out. And Patterson is a phenomenal athlete. You guys know that from being here covering him. He's one of the best players to ever do it. So obviously we have a challenge kicking off there. But it's a good challenge, and I think Cairo's up for the challenge. And I like where Cairo is. I mean, I like where he is in his mindset. I like where he is. I mean, like we talked about earlier, he missed the PAT. He made 29 straight kicks. He hadn't missed in 9 games. So, I mean, am I worried about Cairo? I'm not. Am I worried about kickoff? I'm not. I'm excited. I'm ready to compete. Like, I want to play again. And I think that's where our guys are.
Who could help you on kick return if you decide that Ebner needs a break or that he needs to devote more time on offense?
Yeah, I think everybody's in the mix. Anybody you saw, and I think Coach hit that kind of already, but everybody's in the mix. Whoever's on our roster who competed in the preseason at it, or whoever is on our practice squad is also an option, all right, because that could always happen. So there's no one person. Those guys are still competing. We're doing kickoff return today, and we'll go out there and we'll see who wins that role. But Khalil did a phenomenal job at it. He tied his longest return of his career. The guys love blocking for him. He's outstanding, and he's a really good player, and I'm really happy for him, the way he responded to adversity. Coach talked about adversity, and we got, he's had a little adversity this year, and he responded in a positive way, and that's really, really positive for us. Our return game was very positive last week, punt return and kickoff return.
A few weeks back, you guys had, I think, back-to-back weeks of a clean injury report. Now, had some injuries add up, some IR moves, et cetera. Trickle-down effect really hits you.
Yep.
Is that something that can be mitigated a little bit with the return of a guy like Matt Adams?
Yeah, I think so. Coach talked about Matt having the ability to come back this week, so we're hopeful there. Matt is a really outstanding special teams player. He's a really good linebacker as well, so we're excited for the possibility that he may be able to help us this week. So, yeah, I think to answer your question, Biggs, yes, for sure.
What have you seen from Halas Jones the last couple of weeks with him being a healthy scratch in terms of like how he's responded to that? Have you had to talk to him about it being a rookie? What have you seen from him on the field, off the field?
Yeah, I just seen determination. I've seen more and more determination. He's always been determined since he's gotten here, but all rookies and all newcomers or first-year players, they really realize, like, what the league is. We all realize stuff, right? Once we get experiences, we learn from them. And I've seen nothing but positives from that kid. So the good thing is his demeanor hasn't changed in a negative way. It's been positive. And he's just want to work his tail off and try to prove himself in practice. So that's good.
What's your scouting report on Justin Lane as a special teams?
Yeah, we played Justin, and he was at the Giants when we played him. Fast, long, really, he got a nose for the ball. He's a good addition, and we're excited to have him. I think he'll fit in well.
Richard, to Patterson for a minute. You've been around a long time. He's been around a long time. Do you have any horror stories or success stories of going against him that jump out in your brain when you think about playing him?
Not really. Not any horror stories. Not any really good stories either. I mean, I just know when we played him, like, you got to be on your details. Like, you have to be on him because he's special. And I believe we got guys like that too that are special, that are covering. So it'll be a good matchup. I'm excited about the matchup.
Kickoff out of bounds. I mean, that kind of came out of nowhere. Carroll's been booming them
Yeah.
all year. Were you guys trying to do something different there, or did he just completely mishit it?
Yeah, no, I think he lost his footing on it. You can ask him about it, but it's what he told me is he lost his footing on it and he kind of just wrapped it. And it's like last second lost his footing and he hit it wrong and it kind of just went out of bounds on him. Thank God the defense was able to stand up there. They played complimentary football. We didn't help them out right there, but they did a phenomenal job stopping them, and that's what team's about. And that's what I told Cairo, that's what team's about. And then next time you go out there, let's try to do a better job. That's all.
Did you see him in coverage on the kickoff right before halftime, the one that got out a little bit?
Yeah, so I saw on that they ran a double-double, so they doubled us at the 4 and the 5. And what I saw was, first of all, the kick was a good kick, but it wasn't our best kick, and Cairo will tell you that. I saw that they blocked it up really well, but even with the kick not being our best kick, we should have tackled it at the 25-yard line. We had two guys that fit outside on the right as they were bringing it back to the right, and we had two guys sitting outside, and we had a guy that was supposed to fit inside, and he stayed outside, and it would have been tackled at the 25. But that kickoff coverage now, if anybody fits it wrong, just like a run in an A-gap, I mean, just like an 8-man fit in a run in the box, if one person fits wrong, it could get out of there. So they've been really excellent on kickoff coverage all year, but that one was one that we would love to have back for sure.
With someone like Halas, just in your career when you have a young player, they just want to get kind of over a hurdle, whatever it is there any replacement for game reps? Like, I mean, you can maybe see he's gotten to a point in practice, but can you really ever know until he gets that chance in the game to show you that he's figured out?
Yeah, you know what? That's an outstanding question, and I don't really know if you can. I mean, that's what the preseason is really for those young guys. But if you guys remember, Halas only played in one preseason game. So what happens when that happens? Not his fault. Like, he should, you know, he wanted to play. He couldn't play, you know. He wasn't healthy. So what happens? He missed 2 preseason games. And what happens in the season? He has his 2 preseason games play out during the regular season. And what happens if that happens in the preseason? I don't count. He'll be all right. But if it happens in the regular season, when the game's on the line, then it matters more, right? So that's unfortunate for him, but that's what you saw play out. He never got his 2 preseason games. And as a pro, he needs to make it happen in the regular season. We can't make an excuse for the preseason, right? But that's what happened, guys. So it's real easy. Now, if he ever gets a chance again, we'll see what happens, right? Because his preseason's over now.
Coach, on the punt where Kushan got down there, he seemed to be in position to be able to down that punt inside the 10.
Yeah.
When he came off, he was real upset about something. You got to get in between him and the ref and kind of manage that situation. What was going on there?
Yeah, you saw that, huh? Yeah. All right, so what happened on that play is he was upset, obviously, because he wants to down the football. His rule in that situation is to go behind and down the football. So that's why I want him to down the football. He actually got close to the guy, and that was the conversation that he and the ref were having. The ref they were just trying to make sure that, you know, he understood that he couldn't get close and all that. And the ref was outstanding. That ref is a phenomenal guy. I've been knowing that ref for a long time. He does a really good job. And what he was trying to do is make sure the kid understood the rule. And the kid was just upset about not making the play at the time. So it looked a little weird, but it was just